What's the meaning of life? There is none. Absolutely none. You live, you die, that's it. Anything that happens in between doesn't matter. A reaction like that, some people are gonna silently agree with me. Other people are gonna get really angry and say, no, well, you have to do this and you have to do that. And this is a question I ask myself more times than I would like to admit. And I get a different answer every time. So I usually just go back to the default of nothing. It's just a void. There is no point. We just live and exist and die. That's a dark place to be though, so obviously I try to be more hopeful. I try to have a Cinderella Disney ending, where the prince finds my glass slipper and then, well, I don't know what version of Cinderella this is. I ask myself what the point of life is, and it's funny. I don't know where you're seeing this, but at least in America, you're not supposed to talk about religion and politics. And the third question you're not supposed to ask is, what is the meaning of life? That's the third. There's actually a third question. Yeah, those are the three things you're not allowed to talk about. And when you start to go into this topic, you get just so many varied responses. I don't know. That's really when I ask this question. I don't know because I can't prove it. If you were to ask a physicist this question, they would answer differently. If you were to ask a pastor this question, they would answer differently. If you were to ask a doctor this question, they would say, oh, be healthy. That's what a doctor would say. Well, actually, they would say eat a Big Mac so you can keep going to them, so you can fund the insurance complex that goes on in this country. But they would say to be healthy. Different people, so if you were to ask me, a failed accountant, insecure, front-end intern, what is the meaning of life? I wish I could give you a satisfactory answer. I always thought that, okay, I'm getting older, I'm gonna figure out what I'm supposed to do, and that just keeps getting farther and farther and farther. Maybe when I'm retired, I'll figure out what I'm supposed to do. But at this rate, it's just, that answer seems to get farther and farther and farther away from me. I wish I could answer this question because it's the one that keeps me up. Well, that and will I find someone? No, I know the answer is no, but it's always fun to be a little delusional. Maybe I'll audition for Love Island and pull someone for a chat. I think about this question all the time. I come from a Christian background. I would still say that I am Christian and that I do believe in Jesus, but belief or disbelief in a deity doesn't really, at least for me, it doesn't really answer this question, because even if you believe in XYZ religion or this or that, or your yoga, or you're a big believer in the Pilates movement, whatever Scientology tells you, at least in my experience, all these things don't really fully answer that question. Because a part of me just wants to receive a set of instructions I'm supposed to follow, and then by following it, bing, bang, boom, your boy is a billionaire. But I don't know, I keep getting debt every time I follow this set of instructions. It's just, the student loan just keeps growing. I thought that someone else could tell me this. I really thought I would get this answer in therapy. I thought a psychologist could tell me the meaning, but ironically, he just kept asking me questions and questions when I wanted an answer. And I kept getting questions and questions and questions about my feelings, man. Why are you asking me how I feel? Okay, if I wanted to talk about how I feel, I would do it somewhere else, not in therapy. But that's what I would get in therapy, not the answer to the meaning of life. You're just, how do you feel about what does that make you feel in? Yeah, because I'm gonna talk myself into finding meaning. That's definitely the meaning of life. It's just talking myself into it. It's a question I try to explore, and it's a question that I never come up with an answer that I really like. And it's funny because I think the fact that I'm asking the question is kind of it's a form of rebellion, because even though I started out this video saying, hey, there is no meaning, there is pointless, it's just a void and it's just blackness, I still wrestle with the question. I still am trying to answer it now in real time. And I don't really have a lot of people to talk about this with. I definitely can't talk about this at work. I think Donald Trump is less polarizing than trying to find meaning in life. Ironically, I don't know why it's easier to talk about, other things, but then once you go into, why are we here? We're kind of just moving things around just so that the next executive can move things back. You're not supposed to do that. It kind of, the whole thing falls apart. And I wonder what it talks about our culture if we can't even question or ponder or really come up with why we do what we do and what the outcome is. I don't know if I'll ever get an answer to this question. I really don't know, because I don't know because sadly it's not like my calculus test that I would fail, where there are correct answers on a calculus test. There is a correct way to differentiate functions, but life isn't a differentiable function, sadly. Sadly, it's not just like this prompt that you just put in ChatGPT and bam, you get the answer. Because if you ask ChatGPT this question, depending on what you say, it's gonna give it back to you. It's not this general, because AI ain't gonna solve this. If AI solved this, we wouldn't be here. Let's just say I would be sipping a margarita in Mexico if AI had the answer to this question. Because the purpose of my life is to sip margaritas in Mexico. But sadly, I haven't come to that conclusion yet. And I don't know how I am going to think and feel and whatever and ponder as time goes on. I wonder, like, what the next and the next and the next. I really do wonder how I'm going to think and feel and answer this question with time, because as time goes on, so does my opinion about this. It really changes, because my knee-jerk reaction is nothing, but maybe I might become a little hippie. I might say love. I might find, if your boy gets in a relationship, bing, bang, boom, might revisit this video and say, bam, the whole point is love. Everybody gotta get their Disney Channel, Disney fairy tale ending. But since I don't live that out, it's a bit more bleak, maybe even a bit more honest, where there is nothing. Because I'm just in this apartment alone. Like, it's just me. Like, there is, at least, to my knowledge, there might be somebody under the bridge. Who knows how Austin, Texas works. And I'm gonna keep exploring this, and we'll see. I might find out more, I might find out less, but it's always fun to just think about. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Road to 500, probably might get there maybe in this century, maybe not in this century, who knows. Socials will be linked down below and at the end of this video. Thank you so much, I'll see you soon.